Trump unveiled what he called a Greenland framework deal, aimed at defusing tensions with Europe and halting a planned wave of tariffs. According to reports, the agreement updates the 1951 U.S.-Denmark Greenland Defense Agreement, modernizing the terms of America's military role on the island. The new framework reportedly provides for an increased NATO presence in the Arctic, positioning the alliance more firmly in the high north. It also outlines additional security guarantees for Greenland itself, while opening the door to expanded extraction of raw materials, according to reports. Under the deal, the U.S. Golden Dome missile defense system could be deployed on Greenland, further integrating the island into Western defense architecture. However, the framework does not give the United States full control over Greenland, in contrast to some of Trump's more expansive earlier remarks about the territory. Donald Trump announced the framework on Truth Social, describing it as an infinite deal, and presenting it as a strategic win for all sides. This announcement followed his earlier claim that he wanted Greenland, including right, title, and ownership, language that sparked controversy in Europe. Later, in a January 21 interview with CNBC, Trump softened that stance, characterizing it instead as a concept of a deal. As part of the move to cool tempers, Trump also withdrew 10% tariffs against 8 European Union nations, signaling a deliberate de-escalation in transatlantic tensions. As U.S. gained strategic access, White House press secretary said, and I quote, "If this deal goes through, and President Trump is very hopeful it will, the U.S. will be achieving all of its strategic goals with respect to Greenland, at very little cost forever." President Trump is proving once again he's the deal-maker in chief. As details are finalized by all parties involved, they will be released accordingly. Unquote. Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen welcomed the new framework but emphasized that any cooperation must fully respect Greenland's sovereignty. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni praised Trump's decision to ease tensions, while the NATO Secretary General struck a cautious note, saying that important work still remains. NATO Chief Mark Rutte also underlined that Greenland's sovereignty was not on the table during negotiations, pushing back against speculation about a transfer of control. At the same time, many Greenlanders and several Danish members of parliament remain skeptical about the deal, voicing concerns over its long-term political and economic implications. The United States and Denmark are reportedly working on a new framework deal that will clearly define American military rights and responsibilities in Greenland, reshaping the island's strategic role. According to reports, the draft agreement was discussed in Davos during talks between President Donald Trump and NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, underscoring its importance for the alliance. If finalized, the framework is expected to grant the U.S. control over select areas of Greenland, designating them as sovereign military base zones under American authority. The draft agreement read, and I quote, "The plan includes updating the 1951 Greenland Defense Agreement between the U.S. and Denmark, which allowed the U.S. to build military bases on the island and establish defense areas if NATO believed it necessary." Unquote. These designated areas on Greenland would be treated as United States territory for military purposes, in a way similar to how Britain administers its sovereign base areas on Cyprus. The framework would allow Washington to expand its Golden Dome missile defense system onto the Arctic island, tightening U.S. missile shield coverage in the high north. According to reporting by The Telegraph, the deal would also permit the United States to mine rare earth minerals in Greenland without needing prior approval from Denmark. Diplomats and analysts see the arrangement as a compromise designed to head off Trump's earlier, more controversial threats to annex Greenland outright. Under the framework, Denmark would still retain full sovereignty over the island, maintaining political and legal control over Greenland's territory and population. Trump has publicly described the deal as fantastic for USA, highlighting what he calls major national and international security benefits flowing from the agreement. European officials have broadly welcomed the framework, viewing it as a step toward de-escalating tensions in the Arctic and stabilizing transatlantic relations. The agreement is also expected to strengthen NATO's activities in the region and enhance protection for Greenland against external military and economic pressures.
25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.
पच्चीस करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.